Hey, y'all, welcome back to In the Blind Podcast. My name is Eric Gunderson. This is my co-host, Mr. Stephen Barker Liles.
Hello, everyone.
We are the country duo known as Love and Theft, and today we are joined here at Riley Green's Duck Blind, where our In the Blind studio is. By a guy that I've been following for a while, big fan of his voice, big fan of what he's doing in this space with his music, with everything that he's doing. So y'all make welcome from Indiana, Mr. Chase Wright.
Come on. What's up? What's up? I don't know where.
There we are.
There you are.
Welcome.
Dude, appreciate you guys for having me, man.
Absolutely. We're
And
excited.
a Monday,
excited.
too. Look at
This
you,
is,
man.
yeah, dude, this is like great though. Thank you.
Yeah, we're happy you're here, man.
How's your 2026 going so far?
Dude, 2026 has been crazy, man. I got married a couple months ago.
Congrats.
Actually, what? Like it's been almost like a month exactly. It's like a month and a
Oh,
week. So
really?
yeah, so big like
Congratulations.
changes there. We went on a honeymoon. We got another trip coming up.
Where'd you go on
like,
your honeymoon?
We went to Mexico, yeah,
Nice.
and so we were like originally gonna do this like Italy trip coming up as our like honeymoon, and I was like, dude, I don't want to wait like 3 months to go to a honeymoon. That's just
Yeah.
kind of lame, you know. We just worked so hard on the wedding, and so we're like, let's just do a weekend trip somewhere, and then we're like, let's go to Mexico for a weekend, and we're like, let's make it 4 days, you know. So we went like
That's amazing.
Wednesday to whatever Monday or whatever like it ended up being, and so that was super cool. And then I don't know who decided to do this, but I decided that putting out a record at the same time was a good like thought.
Nice.
So, dude, I literally like the most busy I've ever been was like the month leading up to the
Yeah.
wedding, and I turned in the album the evening before the wedding at like
Wow.
9:30
Oh my
p.m. It was
gosh.
just chaos.
I
and it
feel
was-
like a massive weight off your shoulders
Yeah, I mean,
going into the big day.
dude, yeah, no, definitely, because it was like, oh well, it's like due Friday the 20th, and I was like, well, that's my wedding. I'm not doing it then. And so it was like just like, you know, cramming everything in and, you know, getting ready for the wedding and making sure you load all your car up with all the stuff you need. And then and as I'm like hitting up the mixer, like, you know, like, dude, okay, we need this like tonight, like you
Right.
can do it tonight. And so I was like, I don't think I've ever been more stressed in my life. Not even because I was like, it was just like the little things I didn't even think about, like making sure the car's packed with everything, and
Right.
that my like son's got all the stuff he needs, and that it was so much. But then once it was done, like morning of the wedding, I was like not worried about any of it. And so
Nice.
yeah,
That's
but it
awesome.
was just, man, yeah, just I didn't really plan that out a couple years ago when I started putting out singles, or last year when I started putting out singles, and I was just like, I didn't map it out like every 8 weeks or whatever, you know, and it's gonna land right on your wedding day. But no, I'm like glad. It's been a fun, crazy time, but fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you have, what's your plan for releasing all the new music? Is it going to, do the waterfall thing? Is
Yeah. So that's like kind of what I've been doing. I started out like, it was last January, put out the first single, and just been feeding singles every couple months, every 6 weeks or so. And as an indie artist, you can kind of move as you need to and whatever. And so
Nice.
we've just been doing that, and then which I've just seen over the years, like that's kind of what like has worked for me. And it's like
Yeah.
I've tried different things where, like, and I did something slightly different for this like record. I did like an EP last like summer with like the first half of the record, and to give it like a second look and all this other stuff. But singles is kind of like the way to go, man. And it's like,
seems that way.
yeah, I mean,
People's
and
attention span is so short.
yeah,
man. It's
well,
like-
and then like these like platforms, whatever, the Spotify's, the Apple Music, the Pandora's, all those people want, they're like, we want a record, and if the record comes out, it needs to have like half new music and all this stuff, and I'm like, but that stuff just never consumes as well as if I just were to throw
Right.
singles at the wall, you
Yeah.
know. And so I try to do this like, this sort of juggling where I give like sort of the best of both worlds, and so. So I've just been waterfalling like crazy, doing single, and then with the like record, we got I think like 3 new songs and some
Great.
bonus tracks and stuff like that. I try to
Yeah.
make it something without like just putting tons of money into masters.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that people aren't gonna hear unless they listen to the record top to bottom, which isn't really how people listen to music now.
Are you
you know?
thinking about putting them all together for and doing like a vinyl though?
So yeah, so that's what I've done in the past, and what I'm doing now is So this like my first record had 10 songs, did like the whole vinyl thing, and that like worked out well. The second record had 12, I think. This one's got 13, but with the bonus tracks and the different versions of songs and whatever. On Spotify and stuff, it'll say 18 tracks because I got like all the extra bonus stuff, but the vinyl's only got 13. So it's like I've done stuff like that I think is super cool, and I just love, we were talking about it earlier. I just love like the artistry, the like creating the record,
Yeah.
like creating the actual vinyl, that is, right? And it's like,
Do you sell a lot of those on the red?
Yeah, it's like funny. It's kind of been like half and half, but yeah, show it's just tough, man, because it's like, you know, I'd like run such a small like, you know, my like band is just me, guitar, drums, and then tracks. We just run tracks for like everything else, which is great, you know. But it's like so we can rent a minivan, we can fly in,
Right.
you know, we could do all the things without it being too much cost. Like we don't need a big van and all
Right.
that stuff. But like that means I got to bring all my merch with me on the plane, right? And so like vinyls weigh
Heavy.
so
Yeah.
much, bro,
Yeah.
like so much. And so I bring them, but I can only bring like 5 because I got to bring T-shirts and hats and all this stuff in my
Which are
in my
like
check
drive
bag
dates
too.
probably, but not so
Dude,
much
right?
fly
So I
dates.
mean, so like I'll like sell them, yeah, and I'll sell them every time I bring them out. But it's like if we're driving to shows, oh, I load it up with vinyl,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people like love it. They see it, they
love it.
love it, right? It's like, but I just like sell them a lot on, you know, pre-sale website stuff. I just
Nice.
run a couple ads, and then they end up moving quick there. But
really
that's like
cool.
one of my most fun things around records is just like getting the vinyl done and like designing that and
Yeah.
like doing, you know, I like work with this like girl. She's great. She's done all my like album covers, and I design my own single covers for the most part, and which is just something I've just loved doing. It keeps when I first started, I didn't have budget to hire anybody, right? And so I was like, I got to figure out how to do everything, bro.
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to edit video. I got to figure out how to do Photoshop. I got to figure out how to do it all because I want to look like I got it even when I don't. You know?
Absolutely.
And but she's like great, and so yeah, my like favorite part is picking out like the vinyl color and like doing like this year we're doing some different. I have like this custom inner like sleeve that I made, you know, and just stuff like that.
Nice.
Like I just like to like to
it.
do it, make a couple bucks hopefully, and
Yeah.
yeah.
People, vinyl sales are huge right now. I mean, they're
Yeah.
like the biggest they've been since they came out. Because I guess CDs not really.
Yeah,
so much. People-
I like tried CDs recently. I just wanted to see because they're like
Yeah.
they're like cheap to make, you know,
Right.
a couple bucks to make, and so we did like the minimum order quantity, which is like whatever 300 or something, and it's funny because I brought it to my entire fall tour, and I was putting them in like a VIP pack for the people that bought the VIP stuff because like, oh, that's like fun, whatever.
You sign them
It's-
and everything.
sign them
Yeah.
and give them a laminate, give them a koozie, whatever. You just give them like a little
Yeah.
something to say thanks. And those are the only ones I moved was from the VIP. Like nobody
Yeah.
bought them.
Yeah.
Like people buy them on the internet and stuff, but they don't like nobody at shows bought them. And then the vinyls were flying.
What do you sell the most on the road, do you think?
Dude, I don't even
Hats?
probably hats. Yeah, those are like easy, and I also can bring a bunch of them with me. You
Yeah.
know, but it's like funny, dude, because it's like country fans love a good photo tee. They
I
just
know.
love your face on a
Everyone's always
t-shirt,
said
bro.
that to us.
Dude, and like so I think by the time this goes up, it'll already be out. But I just did some new like merch that I think I'm putting live like today or tomorrow. And so, but I tried to do it like a little bit like cooler, like not so just like generic photo tee, because that
Right.
stuff like kind of makes me cringe, even though people like it. And so so yeah, I like went and I was like searching up like tons of different merch looks and try to, you know, do something a little bit cooler, that it's just not just like Chase Wright, big face, you know. And so but dude, it's like shocking, but like that moves a lot
Yeah.
too. But I like think that the hats this past year moved the most, just because one, you're not selling out of sizes, bro. You can just bring a
Right.
ton because they don't
Yeah,
like I
that's a
mentioned, they
good
don't like
point.
weigh a lot. You can stack them all together,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, like your CW hat? Is that,
Yeah.
I saw that one on your.
Yeah. No, that one, and I was like, bro, like, I was like, I could just do this in a bunch of different colors, you know. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm doing this like year. I have this like camo one. It's like a camo bill with like a brown CW on it, and then I got like a light blue just because the record color is like light blue. I'm just gonna try doing different colors and
Yeah.
see what's up, and saves me from having to like make new like designs too. You know,
Yeah.
you can just keep rifling
Keep it
through colors.
going.
Yeah, dude, come
I
on.
love it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Rumor
So-
has it you're really fast.
Dude,
All right.
it used to be, bro. I would tear everything in my body trying to run fast now.
Who do you think's faster than you in the music industry?
Dude, I don't even
Solo
know.
male artists.
There are some like athletes, bro. There are some athletes.
Doesn't mean they're fast.
That doesn't mean they're
though.
fast, but that's like, dude, that's what I'm saying. There's like, and I even realized this when I was like running and training super hard, dude. I was working out like 3 hours, like 6 days a week. Like it was just like I had a lift, you know, an hour and a half, and a running workout hour and a half, and I was doing that like 6 days a week, dude. It was crazy, and I realized very, very quickly I could work out 8 hours a day. There is a limit to how fast I can possibly run.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
genetics, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm faster than most, but there are people exponentially faster than me. And so Dude, that's like so like true. Even though these guys look jacked and they look like they can like dunk on you, and they definitely could, that doesn't mean that they're fast, right? But dude, not just because we're in Riley's bar, but I feel like Riley has some like wheels on him, you know?
I think so. I mean, he's just a good athlete.
Yeah, right.
Seems to be decent at everything he tries.
I mean, but like then, bro, it's just you just have to be naturally fast. You can like hone it, but you like can't take somebody who's not fast and make them fast.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I'm really fast. I mean, have you seen my cousin, last name Liles, the fastest guy in the world right
yeah,
now?
come on, dude.
Have you guys ever seen him?
You guys look
We
super
look alike.
similar.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
so
see
you
there's
know
a-
I'm fast.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Dude, yeah, no, I haven't sprinted in like, I don't even know, probably 6, 7 years. Like actually like full speed, not even full, like 80% even,
Yeah.
you know? I just know that if I tried to take off, my like brain would think I like could like still do it
Faster than you
and
can.
then everything's gone, dude. I'm in like
Tearing an
dude,
ACL.
everything, dude. Like Achilles, hammies,
Yeah.
everything's gone, dude.
I haven't sprinted in a long time.
I have a funny story about this exact thing.
Dude, come on.
Please go.
I helped these guys, Matt Lyda and Justin Nunley, with their podcast. They shoot it in here.
Yeah.
And one day, I'm sitting behind the computer right there, and Justin and Matt both look at me, and they're like, Eric, you think you're the fastest guy in this room? I look around, I'm like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
He's like, all right, we're having a foot race outside. So they take all the cameras outside to the back alley,
I've not
and
seen
we had a
this. I
race.
didn't know that.
And as soon as I went to push off, I'm wearing Yeezys.
Oh no.
Like my ankle like slips and rolls. I
On
try
camera.
moving downhill, and I'm just trying not to fall forward. And
On
he,
camera.
he killed me. But
Oh,
it was
no.
Which one raced you?
Justin and Matt.
And they
And Matt's
both-
a runner,
Oh.
and Justin ended up beating all of us.
You could beat him in
No
a bike
way.
race, though.
I mean, if I'm confident I could have beaten them, but
Yeah.
in that moment it didn't go very well.
Dude,
That's funny.
I've been doing like distance running since dude, there's just so like sprinting is so terrible for your body. You know, like I like tore my hamstring like terribly bad my junior year of high school. Like, and there's still like, it was the first time I ever got hurt. You know, when you're like younger, you twist an ankle or something, you're just like, oh, I'll just keep off it for a week and I'm gonna be good. So it's the first time I ever got like really hurt. And so I didn't really know what to do about it. And I sort of just like was chilling, hoping it'd get better. And it just never did. And you can even see in the back of my leg, like there's like this much of a gap where it just like ripped off completely.
Really? And
Dude,
it's
crazy.
never
But
healed
just,
back.
yeah, right. It just like moved up.
Right, yeah.
Like, and so then that caused issues down the road. I kept pulling stuff, but whatever. And it's like, dude, it's just so bad for you how much you're just pounded into the ground. You know, like my by the end of like college, my ankles, my knees, my like hammies, bro, everything. I was like, dude,
You have any
I
lower
need
back?
I need to be done.
You have any
bro.
back issues from
I
it?
need to be, dude. Everything hurt, you know, and it's just like, well, because I like growing up, I didn't have a ton of like money, and I didn't really even know, so I just get running shoes are running shoes, right? Like whatever. Well, they were just like not now knowing what I know now, and I was just running on like whatever I could run on, dude. I was running on sidewalks, I was
Cardboard.
running, dude, literally just whatever. And it's like looking back, that probably didn't help matters either, you know. I'm just like running on solid concrete,
Oh,
just
yeah.
sprinting like crazy for years.
You
But-
said you set a record for something. What was that?
yeah, I my junior year of college, the only year that I didn't pull something like or whatever, you know, the only year of college that I had a full season, I broke my college 100-meter record, which is like
Wow.
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
and yeah, that was like one that stood for like 14 years, and prior to that was like 20 something, you know. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have this one for a minute, which is sick. Well, then Nike came out with these new spikes, bro. I don't know if you've like seen it. I don't know. You were talking about running like you know Noah Liles or whatever, but these new spikes that they came out with for like sprinting is like it's like a crazy, you know, like they're like cut like 2/10 off your time, which is like night and day. Like that's like first and last, you know. And so now just every record in the world is falling. You know, you got heights like people that are like
That's funny.
14, 15 years old running like Olympic times from like 12 years ago. It's like
Jeez,
just ridiculous.
crazy.
Like when Converse remember when Converse shoes for basketball, like the ones that-
Literally, bro.
Like, and then they're like, oh, these are called Nikes, and these help you jump higher. And they really did.
Yeah, dude, that's no, but that's like actually it, dude. It's like crazy because it's I was like, man, why is because when I was in like high school and college, it's been now like 10 years, bro. My freshman year of college was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Or actually 11. And I was looking at times from then, and I was like, bro, it's like the best time in the country then would be like 50th now, just
Wow.
because of like how fast the shoes are.
That's
Dang.
great.
And so yeah, so all that to be said, not really making but my like record fell. You know, it
Hey,
is
you got
it is what it is.
You have a plaque or something for that though, because that's pretty awesome.
I just took a picture next to the record board, you know,
Yeah,
and
there
like
you
all
go.
that, all that stuff.
You
But
need to frame that, dude.
yeah, no, it was like super dope. It was like something I like really worked hard on, and when it like happened, I was just like, dude, okay, cool. Like this is, you know, like because I just been working at it for years.
Man,
That's
do you
incredible.
do you ever think like, man, if I would be doing it now, I
Bro,
might actually,
every day.
I might be getting paid for going to college, NIL
Every
money. Because if
day.
you were setting records in the state,
Bro,
you
every
could be
day.
getting NIL money right now,
Dude, well, so I mean, I like wasn't ever that fast, but I mean, for where I came from, you know, my like build, I feel like I was, you know, fast. But yeah, I like do think about like, oh man, like the college that I went to, you know, like the coaching staff now, the kids that are there, they're all seem to be. They're flying. They're like running so fast. I was like, bro, if I could have been there with these kids
And
that are
those
super
spikes.
motivated, in those dang shoes, bro. Oh man, I was like, man, I'd be lethal, you know. But I mean,
That's funny.
it is what it is, you know. It's I'm just glad that the kid that beat it didn't just like barely beat it, you know.
Yeah.
Like he's like smashed it. I was like, okay, I'm glad, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a, you know, just
Like
edged
tenth
it
of
out.
a second.
Yeah, I'd be like, come on, dude. Like
Yeah.
really, no, but he like smashed it. So kudos to him. But it was just one of those moments that I was really proud of because it was. I just been working and had so many, you know, injuries and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and I just been working so hard. And when it finally happened, I was like, dude,
That's pretty
I
cool.
made it.
That's
You don't meet
incredible.
many people
Yeah.
that have had that in
Yeah.
country music, you know.
yeah, dude.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So how'd you make that transition from
Yeah, there you go.
from running and
Yeah.
you know it's. I mean, I assume it's kind of it parallels.
It like
you know,
really does.
music
I
side.
feel like that's why you see so many like athletes make it in music because it is so much of like a very similar, you know, thing where it's like so much work happens when nobody's looking, right? And it's
Yep.
like you gotta like track too. Like there was for probably half the year I'm training alone, you know,
Yeah.
like because we're not in, you know, season, it's summertime, whatever. And it's like so much work happens alone and you also got to just push yourself like always and the work ethic behind it all and just like, I don't know, discipline. Like
Yeah.
if you're going to make it in anything, business, music, whatever, like you got to have discipline, you got to work at it. And so I think that's where it really parallel, but also just like doing hard things, bro. Like I was never the best, but I had always like worked harder than everybody else. And I feel like I always had like a natural talent. I was already like naturally quicker than most, but I wasn't. There's like levels to this thing, and I was
Right.
nowhere near like the top where I could have been, you know. And I feel like that's how it is with music too. Like everybody comes here talented, right? Like
Yeah.
nobody in like town is not like talented. It's like, but how are you gonna make it over like them, you know? And that's when I first moved here. My first day here in town, I went to these like Broadway bars, and I was just walking around, and I was like, dude, everybody here is so good. And I didn't know anything about anything, and I'm just like, how am I gonna make it when every single person down this street sounds so good? And I was like, well, I'm just gonna freaking work, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna work, figure it out. And yeah, I mean, here we are. Well, dude, it's been 7 years now that I've been here,
Dang.
which is crazy, you know. And I don't feel like I've made it yet, but we're like working at it, you know.
Yeah, I think you're crushing it. I mean, just watching what you've done so far, just in the last 7 years since you've been here,
Yeah.
it's been fun. I mean, I remember seeing your name come across my social media kind of early on, probably 6-7 years ago ish,
Yeah.
and just loved your voice, loved what you're doing. It's
That's awesome,
it's
man.
unique,
Thank
it's
you.
different,
Yeah.
you know, but it sounds really good. And
Yeah, dude.
have you found like, you know, as you came from track and, you know, like you said, the work ethic side of it, putting yourself in a position where you're willingly doing something that's very difficult on the sports side.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of times, people ask me like, why do you do this? Like, it seems like there's so many more valleys than there are peaks. And
Bro.
I'm like, yeah, but have you ever
Always.
experienced one of those peaks? And like, my best
Right.
friend, he played, you know, professional baseball for years, just retired last year, played
Yeah.
for the Red Sox, Rockies, and like we'd always talk. I'd be like, man, you have such a cool job. He'd be like, yeah, I think you have such a cool job, and they're actually very similar.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I go out there and I get beat up every day. I suffer in silence most of the time just so I can go out there and throw a baseball 100 miles an
Right.
hour and hope that I throw strikes. And
Right.
it's like, but I don't know what my body's doing from day to day. He's like, is it the same for y'all? You don't know what your voice is going to do from day to day. You don't know what the politics of the team are. It's like,
Literally.
yeah, it's exactly like that. I mean,
Yeah.
you're only in control of what you're in control of, and that's
Which
usually
isn't like much.
It's not much. It's
Isn't
usually
much.
only you, and now
Right.
you have a team of 15 other people telling you, okay,
Right.
you should do this, you should do this, or
Yeah.
even if you have a really small team of a couple people, it's
Right.
like, all right, this is my baby. This is what I've worked my whole life to achieve and to do, and now I'm having to relinquish some of the power and control over this and give it to someone else that they're thinking about feeding their family, and they're thinking about, building their career, and maybe I'm just a cog in the wheel. And I
Right.
know that it's a lot of times it's the same way in sports, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter which one. It's all about winning, and I think in this business it really is too. I think we have the luxury of getting to do what we absolutely love, and we're only a song away from our wildest dreams coming
Right.
true.
Always just
The same
one,
thing in
dude.
sports. You're one game away from
Right.
proving yourself and showing the world that you're a star.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it messes with your mind in a crazy, crazy way, because it's like you could think that you're the best. You could have people telling you that you're the best. You have a whole fan base that absolutely loves your music. But then how do you take it to the next level? How do you, make everyone fall in love with you? So what have you done that's, as far as, being purposeful with kind of your moves and actions and stuff that you're taking in this business to, I guess, set yourself up for success?
Yeah, man. No, so I've been fully indie this whole time, which has been a blessing and a curse. But I also went to college for business, econ major.
Oh,
and
cool.
Nice.
and so I've just always wanted to run my own business, and I didn't know it was gonna be music, right? But if I wasn't doing this, I'd be running something else. I just love being a business owner and leader, and I was captain of my sports teams growing up. I just love, I feel like I've got that ability,
Awesome.
and it's and so I mean that comes with its perks and comes with its downsides too, and it's but yeah, man, dude, the peaks and valleys. I mean, I feel like those people don't really get it, and it's like it's really tough to take that outside look. And it's like I was talking to some other professional athletes and race car drivers. I'm a big racing fan. If it's
That's cool.
IndyCar, Formula One, even NASCAR a little bit, I'm starting to get into that too. I just love racing. And I was talking to some drivers who I've known of and watched for years and all that stuff, and they're talking about how much they're fans of the music and and I'm like what, they like what you were saying,
Right.
they think our job is the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, I think your job's the coolest thing ever. And I was talking to this driver, and I was like, and he's cup series driver, killing it, doing really well, and we're talking about what I was dealing with at the time with music and what he's dealing with sponsorships. And it's him trying to get sponsorships is us trying to get played on whatever,
Yeah.
Sirius
Yeah.
XM or something,
sure.
And it's just always this back and forth. But yeah, it's it does seem like there's a lot more valleys than there are peaks.
Yeah.
But man, I've been chasing that peak for the last 4 years now, It's and that's what gets you going. And and it's just little things but you know what I've realized, and it's tough in the moment, but it's just recently within the last couple weeks, maybe a month or so, I was just all of the wedding prep and the album stuff and everything was just weighing on me, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm just so upset all the time. I'm just down in the dumps. I'm just stressed. I'm frustrated. I had some more team turnover, and you always want what you don't have, right? And all this crap. That's just natural, and it's not a great place to be mentally. And thankfully I'm married now, so I have somebody in the home that's going to be like, hey man, you're doing great. I think you're
Right.
so cool.
That is
All my
nice.
friends think you're cool, But it's just, and then but on the other side of all those moments is the great thing that keeps you going, there's just been cool things that come up with different outlets supporting the record or coming on podcasts and stuff. I've been wanting to come on podcasts for a while, and it's these things are starting to fall into place, and it's
That's awesome.
I felt like at the time it was nothing was going on, and I was like, bro, what am I doing? Why do I keep doing this stuff? Who even cares? All those
Right.
things you go through. And then but yeah, man, it's just we were kind of talking about it earlier about if you just stick it through, and just
Yeah.
push through that, on the other side of all those difficult times, something great has happened. And it happens time and time again. But in those moments, I'm just come on, what is
Yeah.
this? But I feel dude, through all that, I mean, it's crazy how my life has changed so much between 2024 and 2026. Like 2024, I was just getting out of a pretty tough, like, toxic relationship, and I was a full-time single dad. I had just lost, just parted ways with my manager who brought me to town, and I'd been with for years since I started coming in 2018, and so it was like everything I ever knew, and that, then all the things that came with the management team was gone. And so, dude, I was like alone, my parents are 5 hours away, I'm like sitting here with my son in my house. He's 15 months old at the time.
Wow.
And I'm like, what am I doing? Like it's like I have this business to run. I've got a kid to raise. I just like, it was just one of those moments where I just like threw my like hands up, and I'm like, but that's what brought me into my like, getting closer to God and my like faith. And so I would just started this daily devotional every day. I'm like, I haven't opened my Bible in a couple of years, but I'm going to get into this devotional, and that's my easy way in. And I started, posting it on my stories every day. And it's like, just to hold myself accountable, but also that like stuff helped me so much, and it just kept me like grounded. And I don't know, somebody asked me the other day, like, how were you able to do all that stuff? And I'm like, I was like, dude, I have no like clue. I mean, it has to be God. There's no other like way I could go through, raise a kid on my own. Like he wasn't in daycare or anything at the time. So I'm doing that. I'm trying to get work done during his naps, and I'm trying to, and it was just like every day was a grind. I take it day by day. And it's like, to look at how things were then to then, then a couple months after I was doing all that stuff, I met my now wife, and just now I'm married, and we got, my life stable. I got, a new like team rolling now. We got good things. And it's just like, it's just so crazy how things have changed so much. And it's like, it's just persevering through those difficult times, and like, and, man, those like lows are low, but the highs, man, you'd be chasing those for years, and I don't even know what the like original question was, but that like, it's just crazy to think, just pushing through all those really difficult times, how dramatically different, now is, and how much I've like grown, and I'm thankful for who I am now. And like, I'm more into my faith than ever before. I'm more of a business owner than ever before. I feel like I'm more of a well-rounded artist, just because I was forced to do all those things when I lost my management team, and so, man, it's just like the blessing is just on the other side of those really tough times. I think is the overarching,
I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I imagine that the growth that you've experienced, and that if you were to look at yourself even 2024 to now, you probably wouldn't recognize that guy, at least mental health wise, and what was going on in your head. And
ever,
most of my life, I realize now that like I've just been moving through life seeking comfort. Like, okay, I want to be on stage, I want to have hit songs, but I also want to be comfortable in the process. And I'm realizing that the two don't really work together. Like, if you're comfortable, something's wrong, in my opinion. And I think you can work for things, and you can find that sweet spot, and where it feels like everything's working. But I think as soon as you take your foot off the gas and you relax and you say, all right, this feels good, this is where I want it to stay, it never stays, and it usually seems to unravel immediately. So it's like, now I'm at a point where I welcome the challenges. I welcome, I'm not when something goes absolutely wrong, family wise or relationship wise, nobody ever wants that. But I'm trying to get to a place where, in the midst of that, I'm like, all right, what are you trying to teach me, God? And how can I grow? And what can I learn from this? I mean, I think I heard Joe Rogan say on his podcast once, he's like, man, I've never met a successful man that hasn't been through absolute hell. And I think that's what it takes. I mean, I think you have to be broken down and realize that we are nothing without our Creator in order to thrive and succeed. And I think if you're tapped into that, I mean, the possibilities are limitless, really. But I think we are all so in our own heads, and we're living in a world where everything is comparison. It's like, it's all social media. So we're seeing everybody's highlight reel. We're seeing all the things people want us to see. So we assume, oh, nobody else is going through what I'm going through. And everybody's struggling. Everybody.
Every single artist too, at every like level. I was just listening to something like, some artist was talking about like how, there was like another artist who's at the top of their game. You see them on everything. They're in every award show. and they were just like sort of venting to the smaller artist about like how much they're like struggling. And it's like, what? How? You know, it's just everybody at every like level. And it is that like, you know, that like, I was just thinking the other day, if we didn't have any hard times, like what would we need God for? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you were just complacent and going through life, you think that you did this, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, if you don't get brought to your knees every now and again, you're like, you know, but I mean, yeah, it's just like trying to be grateful or just have hope in those really tough moments that like, hey, this is all preparing me for something. It's hardening me for something. It's whatever. Cause yeah, I mean, that's like those like some of the toughest moments in my life, you know, that I'm like, literally like, what am I gonna do from here? You know, like it was some really, really tough days. Like just on the other like side of that, it was like the craziest like thing I could have ever, you know, I'm like, oh, I would have never, but if I didn't go through that tough time, this would have never happened, you know, when it comes to, you know, my son and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, now it's like, it's been the biggest blessing of my, you know, life to be his dad and be, you know, a single parent for years until I was, you know, married. And, you know, now we're like, we got this whole new, you know, thing going on, but it's like, I wouldn't have traded that for anything, you know, but that also came with some really difficult times, you know? And it's like, but like, yeah, I mean, but through that, like, I like really had to be like, you could either roll over and give up, or you can try to keep a positive mind through all this tough stuff and just hold on to hope that this is going to be for something, you know? And cause if you don't have that, it's like, what are you going to do? You're just going to freaking roll over and call it quits. Like, you know, you could, nobody's like, you know, stopping you, but you got a freaking kid to feed, and you've worked too dang hard, and you've been given too many, you know, too many highs up to this point to just give up. Yeah. You know,
100%. I mean, I was in the car driving here this morning, you know, listening to a mix of one of our songs we're getting ready to release, and I was thinking to myself,
mix 2047.
I was gonna
number
say,
2047.
Bro. he said, this is the one. 30 minutes later, nope, this is it. No, you know what? It was actually that 7 mixes ago. Is the one. No, sorry, keep going. But
dude, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
And I'm like, man, I'm like them all so far. So you just pick one.
Well, I find like, you know, I wake up one day like maybe I can hear better today than I did yesterday, and I'll go sit in front.
But that freaking shaker just needs to be up a little
100%.
bit.
And then he did more treatment to his studio, like with sound treatments and stuff. He's like, I think I'm gonna remix it now. I was like, all right, man, it's up to you, man.
Well, I didn't realize there's like I needed some bass traps, and there were a few frequencies that were just I couldn't hear because they were getting trapped, and you know, then I was hearing this weird swirling low end stuff. So I was like, all right, I got to fix this. Then when I fixed that, everything else in the mix changed. But finally, I'm like, I was super happy with it, and then I got to a place. But I'm, you know, I have it up in my studio. Like I won't close the session, so it's like if I hear something or I just randomly go sit down in front of it, hit the space bar, I'm like, oh, that sounds really good today. Yesterday I did it, so
dude,
I need to get better at just
worn out,
being
man,
done.
sometimes.
But
sorry. So you were driving, listening to a mix.
sorry.
anyways, I was
My
saying
bad.
like, and I just like kind of nervous in a sense, like okay, I really want this, you know, the first thing we put out in a few years to do really well, and then I'm also thinking like, all right, so like why do I deserve that? Why do we deserve that? Like there's 100,000 songs being uploaded to Spotify and Apple Music a day. Like why is this one gonna stand out? Like, you know what I mean? And I just begin second guessing everything. I'm like, you know what, we've done this for 21 years. It's been good enough all these years. This is some of the best music we've ever made. Like if it reacts, it reacts. It does great. It does great. If it doesn't, we're on to the next one. And just trying to force myself to be grateful for what we have had, the success that we have had. I mean, like I'm sitting there,
a platinum record behind me, right?
Yeah, and even that, it's like I moved to town thinking if I can just get that, if I can just open up for a major artist on tour, I'll have made it.
Right.
So we've checked all those boxes,
and
I'm still, you know, obviously you achieve goals and then you set new ones. But at the same time,
I'm like the same way.
Like I lose sight of, okay, you've done everything you set out to do. Like be thankful for that. Be thankful for the opportunity. And it's like you get so lost in the minutia and the bullshit. It's like, okay, is this artist gonna like me more now because he likes this song? Like, chances are he'll hear it one time and be like, okay, that's good.
Cool,
Or she'll
good
hear
for them.
it. Good for them.
Yeah,
Right.
good job,
Yeah,
guys.
come on.
Like, I mean, I used to think like, oh, if Tim McGraw hears this song,
He'll put us back
he's
on
going to put us
tour,
back
yeah.
on tour with him a third time.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect. I'm like, no, even the first time, it came from the Warren Brothers and relationships and friendships and other stuff. But we like, put these unfair, I think, goals on ourselves, and I don't know. It helps us. It forces us to lose sight of the crazy blessings that we have experienced. And when I'm grateful for that stuff, it seems like these new goals and that type of stuff falls into place more naturally. If I'm sitting there like in this chaotic headspace where like just everything seems to be flying around up there, and you can't make sense of one mix versus another, like we were just talking about, or you lose sight of like the artistic side of it and the art that you're making just because you're so obsessed with the business side of it. So for me personally, I'm just trying to make sense of the two and find a happy marriage of both, to where obviously we can work as hard as we can, but then also not run ourselves into the ground emotionally just because something doesn't work or something. So all that to say, it's a complicated business. It's a complicated emotional balance that you have to find. It's a crazy roller coaster ride, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But at the same time, I think we're all gluttons for punishment in a certain sense.
Well, dude, I gotta be. Yeah, I mean, that like whole mix thing 100 times. Like, dude, I'm like guilty of that too. I'm such like I need everything to be perfect, right? And it's like, but then I had to get to a spot like, and it was really difficult where I'm like, is the fan gonna hear this? Is the fan gonna hear what I'm nitpicking about when they're listening to it on their phone speaker? Like the answer is probably no. Because I listen to some pretty poorly mixed songs that are massive hits. And I'm like, this song has 2 like tracks in it, and there's not. It feels like it was made in 30 minutes because it probably was, and it's a massive hit. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was like, I think Benny Blanco one time was talking to him. He's like, we went out and sourced this like snare drum, and it was the perfect this, and the tone was amazing, and I put it in this song, and nobody noticed. Nobody cared. And it's like, that's exactly it. Nobody cares. It's like, is it a good song or is it isn't? Or is it like not, right? It's like, that's what like, I feel like matters the most. But it is so funny though, because you were talking about like you had like goals of opening for whatever artist. You had goals to get a platinum record, and like one of my goals right like now is like gold like record. I just want a gold record, and I was like, now I'm working on this freaking stat that might be cooler than a gold record. Like I'm nearing 500 million streams with no gold record.
That's crazy.
I was like, I might be the only artist ever to. I'm like a 420 million or something.
Wild.
That's like I could get to 500 million streams with no gold record. I was like, that could be almost harder to do. I feel like
that means everyone likes all your songs,
but like not enough to get it over the threshold.
I mean,
but now, I mean, that has to come eventually. It's like
I am like super close on one of my tracks, and it's like it's just funny because I like thought I was like a lot closer than I was, and they're like, oh, well, it's US only. I was like, well, I got like international accounts for something, and so it's like, so now I'm like knocked back a couple on my like timeline, but hopefully in the next year or two I'll have one, hopefully.
Well, dude, nowadays, right, I mean, I feel like like back in the day they were giving plaques out all the time. I feel like you have to make your own plaque, or someone's got to make it for you. You'd be like, hey, like, right? I mean, it's like
I got zero shame for. I'll make
no. I mean, you honestly, I think you have to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a label or anything.
Back in the day, there was like someone really keeping track of it. Now the things are all over the place. You have to go track them all down and figure out and put it all together. Okay, this is it. Could be platinum. We're not sure. Your YouTube views are only worth 0.75. I was like, what?
But if we get a couple people to buy it on iTunes, we'll send that puppy
sell
over.
some CDs and report them. Those are worth this amount of whatever.
Dude, I'm with you. No, but it's just one of those things where like, I was like, oh, I just have this and then but I've really tried to be mindful in the last couple of years of like, because when I first started, probably similar to you guys too. I don't know your guys', how you came up or whatever, like when you got your deal and your first single or whatever, your hit and all this stuff. But like, I'm sure when all that was happening, you're like, bro, I'm just only going like that. Yeah. Like we're on to the freaking moon, And that's like kind of how things started for me, man. I was just like, my second song ever that I put out went like viral on TikTok back in like 2020 when COVID first was going, and like everybody's just watching videos. And so I didn't know anybody at any of the companies or whatever. And so I didn't get playlisted on anything, but that song just started going crazy. The YouTube video got like millions of views. Like within the month, you know, and it was just like, oh, this must just be how I freaking do it, you know, like, and
this is easy.
This is easy, bro. My second song. And so then I was on like, from that, like the next single I put out, like the DSPs picked it up and it was on all the biggest playlists. And so, you know, I was just like, I feel like one win after another, and I was just growing and growing and growing. Then Sirius XM picked me up as a highway find, and I'm on XM, and now I'm climbing the charts there. They picked up a second single, all these things, and that was just like goals that I had. You know, I want to be on the biggest playlist, I want to be on the radio, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I didn't take a second to really soak it in and be like, man, I like prayed for this. I wanted this for so long.
Wow.
It was just like, on to the next thing. And then when those next things stop happening because you're no longer the new guy and there's somebody else new that they want to start, then it's like, I mean, I really should have taken a second and really been like, soak in the moment, how cool this really was. When I'm touring 2023, I did, 70 something shows, and I was opening up for all these different people at fairs, and I was doing my own headlining stuff. And I was just like, yeah, in like a couple of years, I'll be selling thousands of tickets, and it's like, it's just, I didn't like appreciate it in the like moment as much as I wish I would have. And so, as I went through that tough time where I feel like I was rebuilding, myself, my personal life, my professional life, all that stuff. So now I feel like I'm catching sort of a second wind with everything, and it's like, if I'm fortunate enough to have some of those cool moments moving forward, I'm going to make sure to take a second to soak that in and not be so much onto the next thing, because I feel like that is great. You have to have goals. If you don't have goals, what the heck are you working towards? You're not going to work hard, all this stuff. But at the same time, man, it's like not being present. That's been a real issue for me. I feel like it's just an issue for anybody who's like competitive and wants to make something.
For sure.
Know? And
I mean, like you're saying, is like when everything's rolling like that, it's like, it's almost hard to take a breath and to step back and watch it happen, because you don't want it to kind of steamroll you and like roll you
pass
over.
You know what I mean?
Like, Eric and I, when we got our first platinum record, we partied for like a year.
Bro,
like a whole year. We almost died a few times because we were so excited still. So I don't know. Maybe that's why God's like, we're gonna give you some time to grow up, guys.
I know.
Before you get another hit.
But no, and Lainey Wilson, man, said this like quote once, and it like hit me like a freight train. She was like, because her like story, I feel like people know about now. She talked about it so much, but she was in town for like 12 years before anything happened or whatever. And which funny part, when I was here for like 2 years when all that stuff started happening. I'm like, 10-year town, bro, come on. Everybody says Nashville's a 10-year town. Like, I'm 2 years in. I feel like I'm right on my way. Well, now I'm year 7. I'm like, I get it why they say it's a 10-year town. But she was like, if I got it when I wanted it, I wouldn't have been ready for it. And I was like, man, I was like, I feel like that's true. I feel like that's really, really true. It's like, if I had the hit today and I was touring, 150 shows a year or something, doing something crazy, right? Like, could I handle it? Is my family in a good enough spot? Like, if my fresh marriage, my son's 3, is that in a good enough spot to be gone to so long? And, it's like all these things. I'm like, probably not. Like, it probably wouldn't work. We just, we got like,
totally.
And like, so it's like even being grateful for the time that I'm like home too, like
100%.
Because who didn't want to go be playing a stagecoach and all that stuff, right? It's like, but I just got to spend a Sunday with my like son, and we got to like hang out all day long, and it's like being grateful for those things too. But yeah, dude. Well, I mean, the thing about it, like I'm like always like, man, if I just get like one hit, I can tour for like 3 years off that one hit.
Yeah,
like
that happens for us. We haven't hit in whatever year that was.
But you guys can still get booked on whatever.
It's crazy. Yeah, and I'm so grateful for that song, because it's created so many cool opportunities for us. But I mean, exactly like you're saying, I was thinking the other day, like, man, it would be so cool to have a number one after being, or just a hit in any sense, after being sober for 11 years. Like, again, like you were saying, like, I don't remember what that felt like, to be honest. I mean, and I want to feel it, and I want to feel that excitement and be present for it. And so I think back, you're like, okay, did God know, like you were saying, like maybe, all right, you need to have this taste of this, and then I'm never going to give it to you again until you're ready for it.
Exactly.
And you need to know how hard it is to get back to this place. Because like you were saying, when we came to town, like things started to happen really fast for us. Like the first year I was here, it felt like nothing was happening. Then, just was consistent.
Then
put
he
out
met
music.
me.
Then I met
Yeah.
Steven, met Brian at the time. It was like, and from there it was like, okay, the stars started aligning, and I'm looking around like, okay, I've got friends that have been here for 10 years longer than me, 5 years
Exactly,
longer
man.
than me. It's not happening for them. Now they're looking at me and Steven and Brian like, oh, you guys have had just this handed to you in a sense. I mean, we'd all worked really hard, but in a sense that was true.
Yeah.
And now, like you said, it's a 10-year town. Okay, we've had 10 years of not having success sprinkled in there with all of that, and we've had those moments, but at the same time, it really has made me so appreciative of how quickly things happen on the front end, and how, looking at just most people's careers, it doesn't happen that way for a lot of people. At the same time, it happened that way for us, and then I look at, we're on tour with Jake Owen and Florida Georgia Line's opening for us at the time. They put out Cruise, and it's just like, okay, we just spent 3-4 years going to 250 radio stations a year at the time before there was any, consulting panels or syndication where everything was picked. Like, you had to go see everybody.
Rough
And we had
radio
fun. It
tour
was
thing.
And we had fun. Like, but then you watch them come on the scene, and like they went on one like 10 station run, and then the song started to blow up, and they just canceled the rest of the radio tour. They didn't do anything. Like, and so I'm sitting there like almost jealous and jaded and angry at the time. Like, man, everybody has to pay their dues in this business. Why don't they? Or why?
Right.
Like, and then I look back at the beginning of our career, I'm thinking, okay, everybody that we're out on the road with is singing the exact same thing about us. And, there's no rhyme or reason, but if you compare yourself to what everyone else is doing or the success they're having, you'll never be happy. You'll never be able to appreciate the success that you've had because you're looking at what everyone else has around you. And that's been one of the greatest lessons I've experienced in this business, is to be grateful for the incredible stuff that's happened. And my success is not determined by anyone else. Your success isn't, it's all incredible. And this is such a crazy world we live in. Our existence from the day we arrive on this planet is hard as hell. Like, it really is.
And I mean, just to like think too about like, like where I came from, and probably a lot like where you guys came from too. Like, I'm a small town in Indiana, like why me? That's what I like. When I showed up to town, I was like, why am I gonna make it and they're not, or whatever? Or like, why am I gonna be able to do this for a full-time job? Because that was even the goal, right? And it's like, I like really in the last couple of years when I've been going through this whole like sort of like rebuilding, like reshaping, like how I look at the industry and all this stuff. It was just like, like what my goals were when I first came to town. Like, what would I think about? Like, I would look at myself when I first came to town. I would look at myself now and be like, bro, you've made it. But now I'm like, I'm not even close, because I was working this like corporate job, and I was like, if I could just make half of this doing like music, like it's perfect. The corporate job was like 60 grand, like, desk job, like really, it was terrible though.
Right.
And I was like, if I could just make $30,000, I could like live off $30,000. I could make that doing music. I'd be so happy. And it's like, now I'm like, I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't have a couple million monthly listeners, so I suck, and it's like, but like, bro, like you just wanted to have like a publishing deal and just be able to like, like not have to work a side job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Quit Blockbuster. That's what I did. I was like, I fucking finally quit Blockbuster. I was the assistant to the manager though, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, you were like, you probably put in some time there.
Yeah,
Then.
I did.
He was climbing the corporate ladder.
But I cried. I called my manager. Well, you just said it. Like, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to do music for a living. I was like, can I please tell me I can quit Blockbuster right now?
Yeah.
And he did. And I walked home because I didn't have a ride, East Nashville, and I cried on the way home. Like, finally, because it's what you said. That was like one of my first goals. So.
Yeah. I mean, I had one of those moments. It was when I like signed a publishing deal before I graduated college, and they like backdated it. So it was like, I said, like signed the deal in May, but they made it for January 1. So like, I mean, I was in like college. I was getting like $200 every 2 weeks from my like work study job. And then, like, I can go to Jimmy John's, I was fired up. And so I got like a check for like, I don't even know how many, 6 months
your
of
draw.
pay, bro.
Yeah, that's
6-month draw, right? Don't even get me started on that
yeah.
nonsense, right? It isn't a
draw.
right. It isn't a like payment. It's a loan, right?
But it's awesome.
But it is awesome. And so I was like able to go get a nicer car. Like I had always had like a beater that was like breaking down every I had like 200,000 miles on it. And so I like got in that car, had leather seats, I had less than 100,000 miles. And I'm like, bro, like music paid for this car.
Yeah.
It was like that same moment where I was just like mind blown.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I just had to get back to that, like how would, 22-year-old Chase think about today, and like, and it's, but yeah, and I just felt myself. Yeah, well, it's because I went through so many years of being like, why the heck is that guy doing that? Which is terrible. But everybody goes, it's just natural,
I think it's human nature, and I think a certain amount of that is healthy, actually. But I think if once you become obsessive about it, that's
you're just so like negative on yourself and what you're doing, and it's like hard to do anything meaningful when you're just constantly so negative. And it's like I was after I had sort of come off that like high of like being the new guy that was getting supported by every platform and all this stuff, and I came off that like high. It was like I was sort of bitter and jaded and like looking at like other guys that were doing stuff. I'm like, but I could do that also. And it's like, you like probably could, but you're like not. And why can't they have success also? Like, why can't you? People, there's like there's enough seats at the table. You just got to pull up a chair, right?
100%.
And it's like, and so it's just really, it's been, you like just naturally want to slip back into that, a little, because it's like, like I mentioned, I'm like, dude, Stagecoach looks so fun. I want to go play Stagecoach so bad.
I was saying that this weekend. Like, I was at my son's AAU tournament, which a blessing that I was able to be there.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm seeing all these guys that I've been watching come up over the last few years. Whether it's the side stage or the main stage.
I don't even care what it is. I'll be in
the
parking lot.
Cool.
I'll be in the parking lot strumming that thing, like. But yeah, and when I was touring all those like shows in 2023, dude, I missed my son's entire like first year of life. Like, I've got like zero memories really from 3 months to 15 months. I got like there's like a 12-month span where I got like, because I was gone, like, you like think about that. I was gone like every weekend, from like, I think it was like March to November. And so from like, and he was born in November. So it was like from up until his first birthday, like I was gone pretty much the whole, and it's like, I just remember when that tour ended, I was like, cause that was my first real like tour, my first real time playing shows. And I was like, so grateful that it was over, because I was like, man, this is really tough. Like when you're first starting out, like, it's getting up at 3 a.m. for a flight of 5, ending the show, getting back to the hotel room at midnight, trying to wind down and get up at 3 again. You're sleeping 6 hours the whole weekend.
Yep.
And so it was like tough, right? And but now it's like, once I'm just like, man, I just wish I had some. I wish I was on a big tour again. That'd be so fun. It's like, but really, what like matters? At the end of your life, you're not gonna. This is what I'm telling my like self. At the end of my life, I'm not gonna be mad I didn't take an extra like show. I'm gonna be grateful that I got to spend time with my family and stuff like that. And it's like, or whatever people do, you're not gonna be like, man, I wish I took more like overtime. I wish I worked on more like Saturdays. You're gonna be like, man, I'm grateful that I got to have such a great life with such great family. And so, that's kind of what gets me through when I start to get a little bit frustrated or jaded or cynical about all this, how difficult this like industry is. And I was just listening to something the other day. I think it's Brett Young who said, Gavin DeGraw or somebody told him this. He was like, if you can do anything else, if like anything else will make you happy, do it. He's like, but if nothing else will, then music's fine, because it is so mentally taxing, and it really does test you.
One thing that's fun about this career, though, I was listening to, we had this long drive, and I was like, I'm going to listen to see what everyone put out this week, which I don't normally do that, because there's like things like what's new. Yeah. Willie Nelson, 93 years old, put out a new single last week. I was like, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? We can't throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball in your 90s.
Yeah.
But you can do this forever. Yeah. And like till you're done. One of Johnny Cash's best records is that one he made like a couple years before he died, about like the Bible and all that stuff. I listened to that record the other day. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, put things in perspective for sure.
But that's like the goal, right? It's like that's when I first came to town, and we were like talking about earlier about how like, dude, now my like goal is not even to get a gold record, is to get to 500 million streams, 500 million streams, and not like have one, because I want
it's like so
because
cool.
Because I would like want to be able to do this for 30 years. I want to be able to I like want to be able to do this until I don't want to, not because I'm told I can't. You know, and it's like my like whole goal this whole time is like I want to build. I don't want to have that flash in the pan moment. I want to sort of just slow build this thing over the years and like be able to do this and like do it forever. Be that guy putting out a song at 90. You know, and it's like, but I mean, that's like the goal though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like you'll have those, I think, if you're not necessarily focused on creating that viral moment, if you're not so focused on, you know, this one song that has the perfect verse, chorus, the bridge that just ties it all, like, you know what I mean? Like if you're not so hyper focused on that, I think naturally, if you're focused on the long game and just making the next right move in that process, I think that naturally creates those moments that we're all desperately searching for. And I think consistency really is the key, because if you don't have success with the first one, it's like, all right, well, how are you going to have success if you don't put out another one? And I think so many people feel that defeat and they're like, all right, I don't know how to pick myself up and move forward and do this again. But the people that are the most successful are the ones that they don't seem to give a shit about those moments. Like, and it's just, they're consistent, and those moments come and they create those naturally, and they happen organically. Yeah. And then, you know, sure, are there manufactured viral moments? Absolutely. But
dude,
those don't seem to have the staying power.
I don't want to get on that, dude. Yeah, I was like telling my, you know, wife the other day, I was like, if I had $1 million that I could just spend on whatever marketing, I was like, I could make it top tier artist today. You know, like I got all the ideas of how I could do it.
What
like,
to do.
Yeah. I don't have the budget to do it for my like self, but I like know how it's done. You know, obviously the music has to be there, but to go off of what you were just saying, I think that it's so easy to move past those moments where you're like, where you sort of don't have this success on a song maybe that you think, or project or whatever. I feel like it's easy to get past those moments when you really love what you're doing. Yeah. I feel like some of my favorite songs, like I have one song that my like wife was in a music video for, and we weren't married yet, but it was one of those things where I was like, I had like written it, and I was like, man, this really feels like something that we could do together. And I could like, you know, because I've written so many sad breakup songs, whatever. And I was like, this is something that I think would really like fun. It's a different vibe, but it's so fun. One of my favorite to play live and all this stuff. Like really one of my favorite songs. My least stream song by a substantial margin. Like not even close. You know, it did so bad. But I'm just like, I love it. So like whatever, you know, like, and I feel like it's like really easy to get over those moments, because it's just like, I really do love everything that ends up coming out. I don't love everything I write, you know, but everything that makes it out, I really, really do love it. And so it's like, if it doesn't translate for whatever reason, that's fine. I'm not like ashamed I put it out. Yeah. But I feel like if like I was chasing a sound, or chasing like, oh, this is what's popping now, you know, and I was chasing that and it doesn't do well, then I'm all like worked up and all, you know, because I didn't really have that passion behind it, you know. It's
I think as a listener, when they hear something that you're passionate about and then they go look back at the rest of your catalog, they're going to see that same passion. Whereas if you're chasing something,
people
let's
can
say
tell,
it's the
man.
first thing. Exactly.
People can tell.
They recognize when things aren't authentic.
Right.
And it's like, are you doing a disservice to yourself if you put something out that's chasing a sound? Let's say you hear something and they're like, all right, we're going to go in the studio, we're going to track something that sounds exactly like this, we're going to write a lyric like this. Then that's the one thing that pops off. Okay, those same listeners are going to go back and check out the rest of your catalog and realize, okay, why is this the only thing that sounds this way? It's like, how can you establish a fan base and a career that has some longevity if you're constantly jumping from thing to thing? I don't think you can.
You just like can't, right? And that's where I feel like there's like flash in the pan moments happen. And I feel like my like first manager when I came to town really sat me down, or you know, when I first got here, I didn't know a thing about anything. I'd written like 2 songs alone. I had just been posting covers on Instagram, and I had like 2,000 followers. I had literally nothing going on, but he just found one video and saw something, and wanted me to come down, whatever. But he was just like, make music that you love. Don't worry about what it sounds like. Don't worry about the genre or whatever. Just make music that you love, and if you love it, other people probably will too. Yeah. And I was like, cool. That was like being told that really early on, like sort of set the standard of like my like first record. Like 2 of the songs have like EDM drops in them, kind of. You know, who cares? Like I thought they were sick, you know, and you know, and I got some that are like really rock focused and some that are like more piano about, you know, it's just like all just like crazy, like all over the place kind of, but I loved them all, and they all, you know, had, you know, my passion in it. And I feel like that's kind of what people heard early on and like really, really loved. And, you know, and I think too, if like you're like a new artist and you're coming to town, and I think there's no shame in taking a minute to figure out like what it is you like love. You know, because the first songs I wrote when I came to town were terrible. I was just listening to some of them like listen back to the catalog in 2018 or whatever. I'm like, man, these songs are awful. But if I would have just been like, but at the like time, I was like, oh, this is so cool because it was the first like professionally produced demo that I ever heard, you know. And I was like, God, this is amazing. This could be on the like radio, you know. And it's like, but if I didn't take a second to figure out what I actually loved and what was actually me before I started putting stuff out, like who knows where we'd be, right? So there is a benefit to just chilling for a second too, you know.
No, I couldn't agree more. And again, like we were just saying, I think, I don't know, I guess I wanted to ask this question. Like I've been listening, I talking to my wife about this the other night.
Yeah.
Been listening to like what's coming out right now, like in the last, let's just say month and a half, 2 months. Maybe even like the last 9 months to year. But like I was listening to just, you know, the top country playlists. And first of all, half of it doesn't sound like country music to me at all, which is kind of funny because when we got into the business, everyone was like, you guys aren't country at
Too
all.
pop.
You're too pop.
Yeah.
And then now I go back and listen to stuff that was on the radio that we were putting out back then. It's like, okay, that's borderline traditional country compared to what this is.
Right.
And then you have so many of these young kids that are, you know, almost like shit talking the pop country thing, but they're all doing something very similar, which to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like when we were that age listening to Dashboard Confessional, like emo music, like that doesn't really exist right now, but it exists in country.
Yeah.
Like there's like this emo, almost raw, real emotional thing. Like, whereas I'm listening to this, like, okay, these kids haven't lived enough life to be singing songs like that. That's really good. Like, I love it. It's really good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just shows you how cyclical just music is in general and how different time periods, for whatever reason, like stuff is accepted, stuff isn't. And I'm like, you know, somebody I was writing with the other day was, you know, they were telling me, oh yeah, this is where everything's headed. This is what everyone's writing. This is what we need to do. And I'm like, dude, you're 22 years old. Like, what do you mean this is where it's headed? This is what you and your 10 friends are writing right now. But I told him, I was like, dude, I came to town 21 years ago in rooms just like you, said stuff exactly like this, and I was so wrong. Dude, and there were times where I was right about stuff, but like really just
we just don't really know where it's headed, to be honest.
Exactly. No. And if you listen to it, the radio, the playlist, they are the more eclectic, I think, than they've ever been. Yet there's still these gatekeepers that are trying to say, all right, this is what's working right now. This is what we're going to put on these playlists, and this is what's not working.
Well, it's like the news too. It's like they're just going to tell you what they want you to believe anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I guess I say all that.
This is what we want you to like now, okay?
To say I used to think it was organic, and there can be organic pockets of things that pop up, but like, it is all controlled at the end of the day. And there are people that
I think
control
bro country
was
kind of organic though. I don't think.
Hot take, bro. I think that's the next wave. Like straight up.
I think so.
You know, like
back again.
I mean, because
why not?
Who didn't love that?
Everyone.
Everybody loved it, right?
If Florida Georgia Line is playing a show somewhere near me, I'm gonna go.
And it's selling out instantly.
It's everywhere.
And they're gonna get up there and do whatever,
awesome.
Bro. They're gonna do their like thing,
and I think what it was great for country music.
People just want to feel. They want to feel good. Dude. They want to feel. It's
you know what's
Jack
so
Johnson. Funny, dude. I'm going in the studio on a couple days from now, Wednesday, and I'm tracking some new music for whatever the next thing's gonna be, and I'm trying to get into like get out of the breakup, get out of the sad. The last 3 records have been predominantly sad stuff, and I'm like, I want to get into happy, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm straight up recording a song that would feel like 2015 Keith Urban, or you know what I'm saying, awesome. Like that back in that sort of like bro country-ish. Keith Urban was ever bro country, but in that time period, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, you started dabbling in the sound though when you realized, well, this is.
I mean, like I was like, why do I when I listen to a country playlist, why do I love it to just be like early 2000s to like 2010s.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to the new stuff on my like beach playlist or on my like long car ride playlist. I'm listening to like, you know, the like OG FGL, the Keith Urban, the, you know, Luke Bryan, 2013, whatever that record
Jason
was.
Aldean,
dude. Right, dude. That's what everybody's listening to.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Like nobody's out here like, let me listen to the most recent, you know, it's just all that stuff that felt great.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's like the wave. And I feel like what's going to start it back, this is like, I don't even know anything about this. I feel like FGL is going to come back and do some sort of comeback run. Right. And then that's going to and they're going to come out with some music around it. And it's going to hit like, just like it used to. And everybody's gonna be like, oh, this is like the wave, you know?
Yeah.
I hope so. I love it.
I mean, dude, I think they would I think they would come back right now. I think they're, I mean, in my opinion, I think they're trying to write or find that song that is going to be the next cruise for them or something like that. In my opinion,
I'll ask BK. I have a show with BK on Thursday on a boat, and so he can't leave me. I'm gonna find out because I'm like,
find out.
You
Text
owe it
me.
to me, bro. We've been friends before you knew Tyler. You and me were friends, so tell me the real details.
Dude, I need some freaking scoop on that, dude. I'd be the first one there too, man. I love it. I got to open up for Tyler a couple years ago, and
awesome.
we played some shows together, and dude, he plays a couple songs in his like set that were like songs that he like wrote, you know, and he plays Cruise, he plays some of the big hits, and I was just sitting there, and I was sitting there like listening to it, and I was like, bro, we need this. We need this back.
Selfishly, we want that.
We want it all. It's like, dude, but you know, it's like funny because I like don't want to say never because who knows where my, you know, sound will take me in the next couple of years or whatever, 10 years down the road or when I'm 90 like Willie Nelson. But like I love listening to like the Zach Bryan or the Zach Top or the whatever, you know, the Dylan Gossett, you know, like that like Texas like acoustic guitar country. It's like I would never, you know, like make that stuff, but I love it. It's like, dude, but I don't feel like anybody like would be mad if Bro Country came back.
I don't think so at all.
It'd be so fun.
And if you look at the group of people that really didn't like it, they're the same people that are talking shit about what's on the radio now. It's like it's just this group of keyboard commandos that just loves to talk shit and hate on everything.
This ain't country.
Like,
you know,
I mean,
like, what is,
every
bro?
format has it.
What
Like,
is, dude? Because
country?
George Jones is gonna tell Garth Brooks his music isn't country. You know,
That's funny.
Right? No, but like
You're
that's
right.
what when I first came to town and I was trying to justify like the freaking EDM songs I was putting on my first record. I was like, dude, George Jones to Garth Brooks, completely different. Garth Brooks to Morgan Wallen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are all like, you know, like massive country artists, staples, right?
Yeah.
And we're, you know, and it's like, I don't think sonically is what makes a country. I think it's the valuable lyric, the lyric that holds that holds weight. You know, when you look at something could sound pop, but it means something. When you get done listening to it, you got something from it. And I was like, well, country, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like,
and I've always wondered, like, okay, why do these people hate on pop so much? Like, pop is popular.
Right.
Like, isn't that why we're trying to make music to
Right.
have people react stuff that's gonna be popular?
I don't know about you, but I'm trying to
cause
make
a reaction.
money. I'm trying to provide, you know? Yeah. I mean, I've never had any issue with it. I think that people doing whatever, you know, whatever you want to do, that like whatever you love and want to put out, just do that. What I do have an issue with is people chasing sound. I'm like, it just like, I'm like, dude, who was it? T-Pain had this like viral video recently. And he's just like scream because he does the whole streaming thing now. And I think if you've seen it, whatever. I don't like watch it. I just see clips that pop up whenever they go viral. Bro, it was killing me. He's just screaming into his mic. He's like, "Make something new. We already have that. And he starts naming artists. He's like, "We already have a whatever." And he's just like screaming, like, "Make new music."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm tired." And I was like, bro, that's like kind of how I like feel when I hear. I'm like, okay, I like know exactly because I've just been in the business. I feel like long enough now where I was like, I know exactly what song you were listening to when you brought it into the writer's room and you said to do it, you know. I was like, make something new. Like that's what I love. These artists that come out and like do their own thing. And it's like I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been listening to just everything that's on these playlists lately, and like I heard this. I don't know if you've heard of Benny Sings or whatever. I'm not sure even what his real name is. The kid can play anything. He sings his ass off.
I've heard
so
the name,
good.
yeah.
Like, and he's so unique and original. Yeah, I listened to like I remember hearing Vincent Mason when he came out the first time. Like Wyatt Flores. I don't know. There's so many different guys.
Dude, there's like so many chases too, bro. It makes me mad. Dude.
But there's so many people that are like, okay, that Benny Sings kid is incredibly unique. But then there's 15 other things that I've heard out that are like, okay, so and so says, oh, this is the next so and so. This is the next so and so. I was listening to this podcast with Stephen Wilson Jr. and the guy was saying, man, I'm so grateful that you've brought this unique sound to country music. But he goes, I'm also worried that we're gonna have to now hear 25 new versions of you and people that are copying this thing. He was like, we only have room for one of you,
right?
And thank God it's you, because you are insanely
that is
talented.
Who he is,
right?
You know.
But
like,
now we're gonna have so many copycats and these kids that are gonna be like, well, why can't I be the next him? And I'm like, well, why can't you just be uniquely yourself and do what is you? The reason that Stephen Wilson Jr. is so popular and so unique is because of his uniqueness. His story's unique, his background, his family, his father, like all of it. It's such a crazy cool story. Like nobody else can replicate that.
I feel like every time I listen to him talk too, there's something else that he says and I'm like, what? You know, like what, dude? Like he's lived like 7 different lives, and they all have culminated to him like singing the most soulful music you've ever heard.
It's
you know?
incredible.
And I mean, but like that's like the, you know, how many like Wallens do we have now? You know, and it's like, and it's like it like works. The music's great. I'll listen to it. Like sue me, right? Like. But if I were to blind listen, don't ask me to tell you which artist it is.
Yeah.
You know, like the music's great though.
Yeah. That's why we gotta hurry up and put out our music before Florida Georgia Line gets back together. They're gonna beat us for all the awards again.
Come on.
We literally follow, like we start getting nominated for awards, and we literally just followed them and just got like second place for like 3-4 years.
Dude,
we already
like,
knew they were
the
gonna
one
win.
year that we should have actually won, Thompson Square beat us out
Yeah.
for it, and we were like, wait, this is our only shot.
You like weren't even you were just like so worried about like somebody else, and like Thompson Square comes in. You're like, hang on a second.
We're like, what the hell? We were expecting it to be Dan and Shay or FGL. How'd they get it?
Yeah,
like
dude.
our numbers were better than all of them, but you know we were okay losing to them just because of what they were doing.
Right. Dude, that is so funny. Well, don't even get me. I just feel like I've just been so, because I came to town and I just had so many goals, right? I wanted to be nominated for awards, and I wanted to do, you know, all this stuff. And then once you realize like what actually goes into it and how those awards are actually picked,
So
and how
political, dude.
you're right. And I'm just like, man, like it's like sort of like removes the veil or whatever, you know, or you're like,
it does.
that would still be like amazing, but the like goalpost moved a bit, you know, where it's like it isn't about necessarily having the most streams like you were talking about, or the most, you know, it's a whole other host of things, and it's like, you know, and that is like, that would be. See, because now I'm just like, man, I just want to be like freaking nominated, bro.
You start a duo. It's the easiest one to get nominated. If you look on the people nominated, I'm like, who was that? Like nominated. I was like,
I don't know how bands or duos do it. Like straight up. Like I don't know how. Like the fact that y'all been together for as long as you like have, and are like doing it, and I feel like that's so rare, because like I think about how much work I do on a daily basis. You know, we like talk about it. You know, we talk about like all the between the photoshops and the freaking contents and the figuring out all the different marketing strategies and all this stuff. I do so much work on a daily basis. If I was in a band, there ain't no way we're all pulling even weight, bro. Because I promise you, I'm like grinding, you know. And if like we're all splitting evenly, that would kind of frustrate me, you know. And it's like, I don't know how in today's world about how much you have to do on your own and how much you have to make it before you get signed. I don't know how bands. That's probably why we don't see new bands pop up.
Well, your overheads. I mean, okay, you know, like okay, let's go play an acoustic show for $5,000. Like, okay, we got to get there. Sure, we want to split whatever's left, but like, there's costs in that, and okay, you have 4 of those a month. Like, like how can you really make ends meet, especially if you have to pay for X, Y, and Z as an independent artist? Like, that's one decent thing about having a label, and for us, most of our career, especially when there were 3 or 4 of us, like, like. Okay, $100,000 signing bonus does not, like, at that age.
Once you got to commission everybody out,
yeah,
dude,
you think, okay, I've made it. I've got this money here. Okay, that lasted us each probably 3 or 4 months, and then it's like, all right, okay, we don't get another advance or anything until we have this song become a hit. Okay, so that's 2 years after that.
But even like then, bro, it's like, but they've also run a tab on you this whole time, and you've been taking a bus to every show you've ever done, and you think the label's paying for it until you realize you haven't got a check for the last, you know.
That's why sometimes us getting dropped was like free and clear. All right, see you later.
You know,
wiped everything away.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, and I've been indie this whole time, and there was a time where, you know, in early 2023, where I had a song going off, and it was on all the playlists and all the spot, or you know, all the Sirius XM stuff and all this stuff. And I was like, I think now's the time to get a like deal, you know. And we started going down that road. We had a couple offers, but my like catalog, my first record had already had like 200 million streams or something or whatever. It was getting close, 100 something, whatever. And so I was seeing some real like, you know, money coming in from that, because I like owned it all. I own the masters, and so when these deals started coming in, and they were like, we'll give you X number, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I was like, on paper, it looks cool, but I'm like a business guy, right? And I was like, okay, once I pay taxes, once my manager, once my business manager, once my lawyer, I was like, and y'all are going to have it. Let's just say you lease the songs for 10 years. You don't even own them. You just leave. That means I got to live off of however much for 10 years, you know? And you like, know, they're running a tab on you the whole time. And it's like, so unless I have like a mega hit, like I'm never paying this back. You know, or whatever, or it's going to take me a lot longer than, and so it was just really hard for me to make that like jump, because I was like, I had a trade off, you know, do I want to, yeah, I sacrificed the big opening slots for whoever on a big tour or whatever, you know, or maybe those red carpet appearances or whatever the situation is. I might sacrifice that because that's a lot. Those first slots on tours are controlled a lot by, you know, whatever. But also, is my goal to get those things in the short run, or is my goal to, you know, provide for my now like a newborn child, you know, at the like time? And it's like, I was like, man, I just want to provide and hopefully, you know, be confident enough in my business owner leadership capabilities to grow this thing, you know? And so, yeah, man, but it's like, you always want what you don't have. I just been like, I just want a label because then I'll be opening up for Luke Bryan, bro. If I just had a label, then I'd be on this or I'd be at that. And it's like, but now all these people that are coming out of their label deals are like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm out of my deal because then I can finally like make music I want. And like, I'm like, man, grass is always greener, right?
It is. I mean, we always thought like, you know, as soon as we even got on Sony or RCA Columbia, we were like, all right, cool. Miranda Lambert's here. You got Carrie Underwood, Chris Young, Jake Owen. Like, the only time we ever experienced any synergy within a label was when we went on that CMT on tour thing with Jake Owen, and that was more driven by CMT, not by Jake, not by that. Like, so we thought, like, okay, if you're on a label, because everyone had a tour package that was all people that were within the label, and like we never saw that once and never benefited from that. And like I think that was a good thing for us to see that, because early on, and even when we were looking for other deals, we were like, okay, well, if we can just let's go on, you know, Mercury, Capitol, Universal, anywhere else that has, you know, just a good roster of artists. And then once we got dropped from Sony and we're looking for a new deal, like that wasn't really in our purview. That wasn't affecting why we were trying to pick a place.
It don't matter if you're on the label with them.
It really seemed like it was management teams that would go into these labels, then, you know, kind of pick off a couple of their artists
agencies,
and then bring it in. And that's where the packaging happened. But the label side, we never really experienced it, which I'm kind of glad we saw that, because that was really one of the only things that we really, really needed or wanted.
Then that's kind of where I'm at too, is like I've never been like, you know, a first slot on a big tour. I've never been direct support on a big, you know, a bigger artist, like major label artist. You know, I've done one-off stuff, you know, like Tyler I mentioned earlier, like we did some fairs with him. I routed some like, I guess, direct support, you know, on some of his club stuff that he was routing with. And so it wasn't like a tour. We did a couple shows, and it was freaking awesome. And I was like, man, I just want, you know, this, right? Yeah. But yeah, man, it's that like has been a big goal of mine too. But then I was like, you know, like, but then I also got to be grateful that I was able to go out and tour the last like 3 years on my own ticket. Yeah, you know, and it's like, and we didn't lose money, which is like, I was talking to my like business manager. I was sort of going through it as we all do, right? I was going through it at the end of last year, and I was like, you know, just talking about ticket sales or whatever, and she was like. She's like, yeah, I got a new artist on a major label who's on a big like, or, you know, arena tour or whatever, who's gonna lose like $200,000. So the fact that you're like making it anything, just be like grateful, because I'd much rather be in your position now, leaving a, you know, small tour with, you know, a couple $1,000s in your like pocket, versus being big, you know, on this big name tour and literally being in debt, mid six figures of debt.
Oh,
that's crazy.
We didn't know any better, dude. They were giving us like $5,000 to open for some artist. I forget who it was.
And you're bringing a bus.
We're bringing a bus.
Yeah. You got to.
Yeah, we had to, because to be on that show, you had to have the full trailer. You had to be able to route. You had to have enough production to make you being on that slot make sense for them. Yeah. So at the same time, and then now we're seeing people pay to be on those slots, and
that's what I've heard too.
And that's what that just makes me lose all faith in humanity. Anyone that's pulling the strings in the music business, it's like
they're paying for it.
How dare you, when you're making this many millions of dollars off the show? I get it. I get
that's
it's
the
a
way
business.
Rock used to do it. From what I told
you. And I get that. But at the same time, it's like you clearly can't believe in the artist that you're putting out here because obviously the most talented artists and the ones with any business sense are going to look at that and say, no, we're not going to come out here. Like, we're great and we can go make money on our own. Yeah. So you're almost watering down the talent pool that's even going to take that. It's going to be a baby act from a major label at this point.
Who doesn't quite understand how the draw works, or how the advance, or like hey, we have a touring budget of $200,000 or whatever. And you're like, that could last this like summer, or that could last a couple years, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like, oh, it's free. I was my like management company fronted the record costs for my first 3 songs, and they paid for my like in-ears when I got them and stuff like that. And it like wasn't a like label deal, but I kind of got a taste of that early, like you kind of mentioned about where I was like, hey, can I get these like in-ears from JH Audio that were like $1,300? And like, yeah, sure. And it's like, thankfully they didn't own anything, and they were really just like believing in me, and they're like, yeah, we'll get your royalty checks, we're gonna pay ourselves back, and then after that you're good to go. And I didn't rack up a crazy bill. They like really looked out for me, but it was one of those things where I kind of realized I was like, oh, it felt free, but now I got this song popping off, and I haven't gotten paid for it in a minute because it takes months for the revenues to come in, and once they do, they're paying themselves back. You know?
For sure.
And but yeah, I was sort of poking around, being like, hey, how did this other artist of similar level get on this major tour, you know? And they're like, oh, they like paid for it. I was like, all right, you know, kind of like again, it like lifted the veil, and I was like, all right, well, I'm good not doing that.
That one.
That'd have been awesome, but like I would have been hit with that, like, well, to make these dates work, you got to get a bus, or else you're gonna be driving through the night, like, you know, you can't
exhausted.
Which I've done that on it. I've tried to route I was an opener for people on a like bus, and I was like, and our travel was insane. Yeah, flying and driving and this and that. Like we were sleeping like less than what we were on a normal run, and so I'd have been hit with that bill and been like, oh, I'll pass, you know. Yeah. And so it's just wild how everything works, and how like I feel like you want this thing until you get it or you see it for what it really is, and it all comes back to just being grateful where I'm at, you know. And it's like having those people like my business manager being like, you're making money playing shows. Yeah. Like it isn't going to pay off your house, right? But you're making money.
In a time where people aren't buying hard tickets very much, they're going to go to like the one show that's
a
like
year.
$350 for one ticket.
Exactly. And it's like,
so that's good.
And it's like, yeah, just put it into like perspective for that. Or like, you know, when my like wife's friends will be like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool that like you get to do this thing, and I feel like, you know, I've just been here for long enough. I'm like, oh yeah, that is cool, you know. And it's just been really, I've just been really trying these last couple of years to like really ground myself and get back to those things that actually matter, and those goals that I had set, and like how would younger me look at what I'm doing now, you know.
I love it.
Well, I think younger you would be pretty damn impressed. I mean, I was thinking that same thing about us the other day. I was like, man, if I could look at where I'm at right now after being in this business for 21 years, like 13-year-old Eric would have been absolutely beside himself that this is what it turned into. Like I've done everything I wanted to and then some. Like keeping that perspective is really been incredible for me.
It's really tough though.
It is. It's so really tough. But that perspective really does allow you to be grateful and thankful for the things you have achieved, and it really does put things in perspective, because this is a hard-ass business. It's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart, and the people that stick it out and really grind, like they're a different breed of human. Like most people don't have it in them to just be beat up that many times over and over again, and then put on a smile and go out there and do it again. Like,
Dude, I like feel guilty sometimes because I'm so like upset, and I act like, you know, my career's falling apart, and I'm like, you know, whatever. And it's like, and it is hard work, but my like dad's a blue collar work, you know. It's like, no, that's hard work.
Yeah.
You know, and so I feel guilty sometimes because I'm like, dude, I'm over here getting worked up and like upset and whatever because like this song didn't get the streams, dude, you know. But I don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. and go into a job I don't really love and work until you know it's dark out and go do it all again the next day. So, you know, and so there are times where I'm like, and then I'm beating myself up over that. Like, come on, just be more grateful for it, you know? But yeah, dude, I don't even know where I was going with that. But I mean, yeah, it is. We like do have to be so grateful. But I don't know. It is hard. It's like mentally taxing, very, very mentally taxing. Yeah, I don't know. There was like I was like going like somewhere with it, but it'll probably come back. But
we'll finish with this question. Yeah. What are your bucket list things or goals, and let's just say the next 5 years that you'd like to accomplish? Like in a perfect world, how do you see the next 5 years kind of playing out? Kind of building it the same way, or is there are certain few things that if they happen, like that would be it for you?
Yeah. No, I feel like my perspective has changed a lot recently, and that's like funny. That's like kind of where I was going. Was just like I like feel like I've figured out my like why. I feel like that really gets you through those tough times that you were like talking about, like the mentally taxing moments, and trying to build this thing alone as like an independent artist, like a lot of times, and it's just figuring out the why, and if I can help people through tough times, through things I've gone through, and it's like that's what I figured out the why is just to impact people, and however that is, if it's using tough times to maybe help like somebody, and hearing that one person at a show come up and be like, oh, your like song helped me through this XYZ, or people have been like, oh, I was like going through a really tough time and I really believe this song saved my like life. And I'm like, if that's true, that's freaking crazy, you know, and that should be enough. You shouldn't need to want to open up for huge artists to feel like you've made it. Like that should be like enough, but yeah, the next five years, man, I like do really think I'm going to continue to build it the way I've been building it. And hopefully, kind of end up hopefully being kind of like my own label, maybe, a buddy of mine had a hit on the radio just by hiring his own radio team. Yeah. It's like, I kind of see, because I'm such a business owner, because I really love like sort of leading and rallying the troops and finding the pieces of the puzzle of the team, and it's like, I kind of think that's realistically where my career goes. And it's like we mentioned, I got to sort of sacrifice maybe some of those chances to do some of the cooler things, but it's like, but when those cool things do happen, it's like, I wouldn't be paying for it, and it's that'd be like, cool. But I think, the next 5 years, hopefully, as crazy as it is, I kind of just want to get back on the role that I kind of started out as, but this time have a catalog to back it up, and have the business mindset to back it up, and know enough about the industry to back it up, and be able to really live in those moments and soak it all in. And, awesome. So it's kind of the goals I have are kind of just things that I've already kind of done, but this time doing it with a whole different mindset.
That's nice.
And then, man, I have this blind confidence, and always have. And I feel like you got to have that when you come to town, because there's so many great people. You got to believe that you can do it. And I don't think there's anything stopping me from being one of the biggest names or on the biggest stages. Like, I feel like I really do have that like ability. And if you drop me there today, I could like do it, So that is the goal, to just keep working and try to build this into as big as it possibly can be. But just through that sort of new mindset of gratitude, and even if I, go from 70 shows to two shows in a year, well, I'm grateful I got to spend time with my family, and stuff like that. And I think having that healthier mindset into the next half decade or 10 years or whatever, I've been in town for 7 years, for the next 7 years, I think hopefully will help, and just, I don't know, just bring a new life to what I thought a couple of years ago was crumbling down. So,
love it. Man. That's really cool. Well, I'm excited to see what happens for you.
Me too.
Same with you guys, man. I think what you guys got going on here is amazing, and I've been like fan, and we were talking about it earlier, and man, I think this is only going up too. So
well, thank you. Thank you. It's been fun for us. We've had some success in the music side of things, and we've really fought really hard and worked really hard to build it back, and this feels very similar to that. It's like doing it kind of totally on your own, really indie in that sense, dude. And trying to figure out how a different side of the entertainment business works. It's been cool. I love the business side. I love creating things. It doesn't matter really what it is. I love to build. I love to mix, produce,
mix 100,
edit
3,000 times.
I'm trying to get better about that this year. I need to be a better closer, in the sense that once something's done, it's done.
That's why deadlines are good. We got to give Eric a deadline. Exactly. We have to have it turned in by Thursday.
I mean, it's like good for your own mental too, because then you're just like, all right, cool, done.
Exactly.
Yeah. But also, if you hadn't gone through all that stuff with music, this would be a heck of a lot harder to get this rolling, because you're like,
absolutely,
this is part of it. People that haven't gone through hard things, they do this and they give up after 4 episodes because they got 100 views, and you're like,
true.
All right, well, but it's like, that's part of it, bro. Like, that's just
we have episodes that after 59 episodes still get 100 views. Now we have some that do really well, and
that's just how it is.
But again, it's like music. There's no real rhyme or reason, and then once you find something that works, it's like, all right, stay in that lane and figure it out and navigate it from there. It's But it's hard. It's hard on the ego. It's hard on your confidence, just because,
it's like
especially when you've done
humbled every now and again.
It is, especially when you've had success and you've done things that are successful, and then something else takes a little bit more work. It's like having that in the back of your mind, knowing that you can succeed with your artistic vision is a huge, feather to have in your cap, in my opinion, because it doesn't necessarily make you second guess things quite as much as you would if you hadn't gone through that.
Which is why I feel like this one's gonna make it where others won't, because I can you could put out 10 like songs and they're like fine. You put out that like 11th song and it pops off and you're like, all right, it was all like worth it. And it's gonna be the same thing here. It's like you could put out a couple episodes, they don't do well, but you're like, yeah, but the like next one's gonna crush.
Yeah.
So
and I was listening to this like psychological kind of guru last night, and he was like, when it gets really hard, most people push through just for a little bit longer, then they give up. If they just push through that last like 2.5 to 5%, that's where the breakthrough is going to happen.
That's it.
And that's what keeps me driven, I think, just in all aspects of my life, whether it's relationships, music, a podcast, even sports for my kids. Like you have to have a completely different perspective on everything, and what the world tells us is the most important is usually not.
Right.
And what everyone's chasing is usually not the end all be all. And I think, just like you said, I think the whole thing I've taken away from this episode is gratitude and just being grateful for where you're at. And so,
yeah, man.
So thank you for bringing that to us
today.
Dude,
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. You caught me a couple years ago. You would have got a whole different episode. But
hey, well, same here.
Yeah.
And I think everything happens for a reason. The timing of everything, just even sitting down and talking to you today, happens for a reason. And
I'm with you.
And I think a lot of people relate to this, and I don't know. I think it'll do really well. So
man.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much for having me today, man. That was fun.
And you got, what's the name of your most recent song you put out?
So my record comes out May 8th, Chasing Shadows, May 8th. And so, so that's just what I've been gearing up for, man. I've been just been grinding on that for the last, couple months, and I'm like so fired up about it. And I feel like every artist says this, but like, this is like my favorite project.
That's awesome.
Today. I feel like there's just so much life change. You can my like goal is that you can hear that in the like music too. You can feel like the like growth. You have the spiteful bitterness at the beginning when I started writing, and then you got some of the like more positive and growth driven, songs throughout. And so I'm just really like proud of it, and I hope that people, it like impacts people as much as it's helped me writing it,
That's awesome.
And so,
Chasing Shadows is a great album name too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, people are like, what does Chasing Shadows mean? I was like, well, it's like something that's real, that you can't ever catch it. It looks like it's, all this stuff. It's just, fleeting, like,
well, that's a good
relationship.
I think, analogy for music. It's like, you see it, you see other people have the success.
The more you chase it, you just can't see
it. And it keeps moving.
It just keeps moving.
Like you said earlier, the goalposts are always moving. It's like,
wait, what's the Disney movie where the dude doesn't have a shadow, loses his shadow, and he's trying to get it? Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm not sure. I
might have to check it out.
Peter Pan. Yeah, Peter Pan. Guys,
oh, that one. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. It's a classic.
Oh man, well, appreciate you guys for having me.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Chase Wright, everybody. Check out his brand new record coming out on May 8th.
Come on.
It's going to be a banger.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks, man. We'll see y'all next time. Thank you.